Hey everyone, what is going on? My name is Nick and welcome back to Nick and Doug Express, where I like to express my opinions on a variety of different topics, coming guys with my second ever album ranking. This is to Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses, of course. Just came off of finishing that album with such fantastic songs, all basically bangers. So coming into this album, if you guys are either from the channel or if you're not, um, just doing my own personal ranking, putting my least favorite one from the album to my most favorite one. That's how rankings work. But I gotta say, this album is basically perfect to me. Like, basically, there's just a couple, it's just slight even, like, they're not even a big deal of things that, like, maybe they're the reason why it's on the lower side of my list. But besides that, man, even if it's my bottom one, which I'll have one, it's still a fantastic song in my eyes. This isn't just some run-of-the-mill band, it's Guns N' Roses. You guys know that, the guys have been watching, and if you're new here, I'm doing the ranking list for my own personal feelings, wanting to figure out which songs are my favorite, which ones are not, and for you guys to get some more entertainment and to see my more personal deep dive thoughts into this album and to more Guns N' Roses action. So if you guys are new here, please click that like button, subscribe, join in on the conversation, because as I like to say here, this is a place to express yourself just like I am, and thank you for joining me, and let's get into my ranking of Appetite for Destruction. So there's 12 songs on this album, and coming in at the bottom here, and I have my list in front of me just to help me out just a little bit here. Number 12 is Think About You. Now, some of you maybe have guessed that, maybe you wouldn't have guessed it at all. I really like the song, okay? I'm going to tell you this again because I want you guys to know and make it clear to you that I like all these songs. Like, they're all really, really good songs. But the reason this one comes on the bottom is just because I felt like it had just slight repetitive nature to it. Like, I liked, obviously the drums, the guitars, everything about even the singing is always perfect. It just, compared to, the stuff on my top of the list and just the other stuff that they've either done before or stuff maybe I haven't heard, Think About You just, it felt repetitive, just like think about you, think about you. And as much as I enjoy, like, hearing the kind of way he likes to express his singing, because he still does it in a pretty cool and unique way, I just found it, again, to be repetitive and just, it didn't have any kind of like special flavor in the like somewhat of the lyric department and kind of in just the pattern of the sound of the song. Even though I still like it and I would still listen to it and play it, it's just the one that I really wouldn't want to come back to the most. And out of all these song lists, I had to put one on the bottom, and really that's the main reason why I just felt repetitive. And also the fact that as much as I really don't know what the song's about, I felt like it just, compared to their other lyrics, it kind of felt like it was spoon feeding me. Like, it's just telling me, like, think about you, think about you. Like, it's like trying to talk about something personal, and which is fine, but it just felt like he was kind of spoon feeding like the message of like what he was wanting to get across compared to like some other songs. So that's just my own personal taste. Still a good song, but comes in number 12 at the bottom. Number 11, It's So Easy. Now, again, all these top songs are top songs to me. They're all bangers in their own right. So the higher we get, the more banger they're gonna even be, if you can even get more banger than we already are at here. But It's So Easy, I like it a lot. Again, it's the one that comes closest to Think About You because it does have some repetitive nature to it. I don't feel like it's as much as Think About You, and it's not as spoon-fed. At times I kind of feel like that, but I still like it. It's got a lot more like pizzazz, kind of like spunk to it. Like, there's a lot more uniqueness to it. I can really flow through it better. I feel like a lot of like just I bring the stick in. Yeah, let's rock out some more. Like, I could definitely, like, the higher we get on this list, and even though I would play Think About You, and I think it's a great song, out of this entire album that we're talking about, It's So Easy, it starts to become more like, okay, this band is special. It would really be interesting to hear these songs from my order and see what people would think about that. But regardless, It's So Easy. As much as it's slightly repetitive, I still think it's got great intro, great ending. It's got really good little like rhythm changes in between the courses. But again, when he does like it's so easy, like, he does it a lot, so it's not that it gets annoying to me. It just, again, feels kind of repetitive. I'm like, you could maybe just change it up a bit here, maybe just not have to have said it as much, but either way, you know I like the song, you know I enjoy it, I love it, it's still good. I'm just giving my thoughts. So after getting that out of the way, number 10 is Anything Goes. Now, this one is when we're really not being any at all repetitive anymore. Like, even if you guys didn't think the other ones were repetitive, this is definitely not repetitive. It has its own unique style from, again, the intro to the build to just by the time you get to like that 2.5 minute mark of Anything Goes, it just becomes like this whole other thing. Like, not whole other thing, but it sounds different. Like, I think I said it in before, it starts to sound like a kind of like weird harmonica type of sound with the guitar, and he does this like interesting sound with the guitar for the solo that sounds like that, and then he builds it in to the end of the song, and I haven't heard anything like it. It felt maybe kind of western-esque, I believe I called it. I really don't have the right terminology, but that's just what my mind thinks of, like kind of like an old western type of town. It was just a different experience from Guns N' Roses out of all this album. It comes in at number 10. It's still a really cool song. I really dig it a lot, and I really like the sound of it. And I would definitely come back to this one even more, because the more the list goes up, the more and more I would want to come back to this list. So Anything Goes, Anything Does Go. I really like it. Let's keep going. Number 9, You're Crazy. Am I still crazy? I'm probably crazy for even trying to do a ranking of this, but I'm doing it anyway for fun, man. That's what it's all about. You want to enjoy Guns N' Roses, you want to have fun. So I feel like I mean, a lot of the songs have different styles and different tastes, but like this song has a great build up. I think from the beginning to the very end, it has a strict build up, and like the first minute or two. But for me personally, as much as like it's maybe like not always slow, because at least not on this album, they really don't have slow songs, but it has its own special build-up that they chose to do for that sound. And I feel like from the beginning, whether you view it as like really fast or just medium, it starts off amazing, and then towards the end, you just feel like they kind of just kept moving it up and up and up, and then by the end, it just like, you know, boom, like I like not like too intense, but it was just the right amount, and I felt like with all of it, as much as not like my favorite Guns N' Roses song, I thought it did everything they were trying to, you know, do with that song, and not really feel like they were trying to prove much, because I think they know what they're doing at this point. I just thought they really did everything well, and the biggest thing I have to take away from it is just that it has a really cool build up to me personally, and when you get to the end of the song, it really makes that journey of that song worthwhile in the long run, and I really liked it. Coming in at number 8, these top 8 for me, as much as I love the other songs that I just mentioned, these top 8 are like pristine. Okay, like to me they're basically flawless in every conceivable way. And like I'm trying to choose my words carefully, guys, because I really care about this. I took a couple hours of my time to make sure I thoroughly knew why each song was in its place. And as much as we're all gonna have our own personal taste, man, this is my personal taste. This isn't my number 8, My Michelle. Now, My Michelle, the when I went into it the first time, even before I started, I was like, My Michelle, that sounds like kind of like cliche type of campy type of name, and without having ever have really heard a good song with a title like that, I went into it completely blind. Blew me away, dude, from the rhythm of the way he's like, well, 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 my Michelle. Like it's so catchy. One of the most catchiest songs, and it was really hard for me to put that at number 8, man. Like these top 8, like I try to start my list from the bottom up so I can like know what I'm working with, and number 8 was hard, man. But again, it's a perfect song. Like these are all basically all bangers, so it's like, how am I gonna do this? So number 8 being My Michelle, it's like I can't even imagine when I ever finish Guns N' Roses what I'm gonna do then. But My Michelle is so good. Again, the chorus amazing. The way the rhythm and the beats and the patterns of just how he builds up each chorus to that line, like it just flows into like my Michelle, and then the way at the very end he's like my Michelle. It's just like, dude, insane stuff. Like it's so fast paced. It just goes like this, and as much as like that's just slight about how it's so easy and think about you, I kind of felt repetitive. This song could have been, My Michelle could have felt repetitive, but because of just the nature of the way he used the instruments and everything else, if you feel it's repetitive, that's fine. I can't even see it as being repetitive because it just goes so quickly and it has such like a spunk to it, like a beat that you just can't stop to breathe really, and how short it is. Even if it feels repetitive, I don't care. Like it just this time it just is like perfect, and I think because of how like even if he's repeating the chorus the way he's doing a lot, it does it in such a catchy way I've never heard before, and that's why it's so good. It comes in number 8. Number 7, Welcome to the Jungle. So now we have one of the first songs that I've ever heard from Guns N' Roses before even being on doing the stuff on the channel, and being such an iconic song, hearing it in Jumanji movies and commercials and everything else you can imagine. Super well-renowned song. When I came back to it, having to put it on the list, I was like, obviously, like it's not my top one. It's a fantastic song and it's well-renowned. It's just like being this undoubtedly big banger of a song and a hit that everybody in the Guns N' Roses world and people who just like this type of music love this song, and it's like it's got such a high regard to be this loved and this renowned. But for me, it comes in at number 7. It's just insane, man. Like, just how fast it just zooms. Like, it's got such a different type of pace, but in the style of what they do. And I, it was really hard because it's like, how do you take like a most popular song and kind of like try and compare it to these other songs that aren't as well renowned? And I've talked about this before, how like just because the song is more popular doesn't make the other songs from that album or from their other discography any worse, or they could be just as good. And how to put it at number 7, I was like, dude, everything about it, how like the length of it, I love the intro. It's just like it's so iconic. So every time I hear it, maybe it's just because of bias of how many times I've heard it and everything else. But at the end of the day, it comes at number 7. I feel like it's a good slot to put it in. Obviously, I come back to the song. It's fantastic. You got so many unique things just happening in the song that like again, the reason why it's so well renowned is just because of how many things they accomplished in this genre of music in this particular song. It's so good. I could go on and on, but we need to keep going with the list. And Welcome to Jungle comes at number 7. One of Guns N' Roses' best. It's so good. Number 6, Out to Get Me. This one, after re-listen, I think I liked it even more, so it came up even higher. Even though I still liked it the first time, it came up even higher for me. This song had just a pure energy to it, like how My Michelle kind of had an energy. This one even has like it was like, which one, Out to Get Me or My Michelle? I was like, I feel like Out to Get Me just has a really high type of energy, and just like the pace, and then to the end, like it has such like the end, like they do, or at least Axel sings, like they end it with him just like saying this one line to just end the song, and you kind of just like um the line is like, I should have maybe wrote down the line. I'm done for that. Sorry about that. But the line at the very end of the song, he just sings it up. He just sings it up, and like he just leaves the song on that high note of like basically what he's trying to get his point across for the song and for the end of the song. And Out to Get Me, just from the pace to everything to that very end build up, kind of how You're Crazy did that. I thought this one did it just even better. And again, coming at number 6, we're getting to these high numbers now. Out to Get Me is a very, 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 replayable song, and definitely, again, a banger. And I've added all these to my list with the sticks, so you know that they all are undoubtedly fantastic. Coming in at number 5, Sweet Child of Mine. Sweet Child of Mine, man. This is like ranked, even from this album. It's on their Spotify, probably even the Apple Music, probably all the music sites. Sweet Child of Mine is their top played song. It has like 800 million plays on Spotify. I can't even imagine Apple Music. To me, it comes at number 5. I mean, that's a really good spot, especially for this album. And it's just, again, it's one I've heard before, but after even coming into it more and like honing in on it after hearing all these other songs, it's definitely one of their most like not, it's not too different because obviously they always sound like Guns N' Roses, but like there's like a certain like kind of vibe of like what he does with the guitar. Like he builds up kind of strong, but then he keeps that strongness in the first 40 seconds, and then kind of has like a slower guitar playing, and then he kind of builds it up more and more throughout, and just different like rhythms and patterns. Again, when they really know how to do the rhythm and patterns of their songs, they just go big with it. And like this is like a 6-minute song. It's so good. I mean, I get why it's their top spot. To me, it's not going to be my most popular song. I wouldn't put at the very top. It would be in the highest, parts of their discography for me personally. But as much as I love this song, it's number 5 for me. Coming from this album, it's a really good song, fantastic, obviously replayable, and coming back to it is just really fun because you can just once it starts, like you're in for something the second it starts because it just sounds like an event type of song, and that's why it's played everywhere and everybody basically knows the song for the most part. Even I guess maybe just slightly more than Welcome to the Jungle probably, but you never know. Coming in at number 4, Night Train. So the rhythm and the pace of it, man, the rhythm and the pace and just the downtime that it has, like I like the way he says, "We're on the night train." And like it has like he says the chorus and then it kind of goes into more slower downtime, but then he says it again. Like it's like there's like ups and there's downs. It's kind of like this interesting roller coaster, and it's just funny how like the lyrics of what he's saying, it feels like you're kind of like on this ride or like on like a train almost. Or I just find it so interesting to me. Out of all the songs, I could I've played the song a lot more because I've just listened to it recently, so I've been coming to this one a lot more. This one, My Michelle, and obviously the ones I'm about to get to, I have really just honed in on it a lot. Night Train and My Michelle being super huge contenders and Out to Get Me, but definitely Night Train has been one where I'm like, I come back to this one a lot. That means I really like it. It's got to be somewhere. I'm putting it at number 4, and just wait till I get the top 3, man. And I don't know how else to say it, man. Everything from the beats to just the way they can do these highs and lows, and just the chorus here is amazing. And at the end of the day, you have a really solid song that Guns N' Roses have cohesively built and had a foundation when making all these songs. And when they came to this one, I just felt like, even though it's not their most popular song, I feel like it's just one of their most strongly handled ones. And if you can compare it to Welcome to the Jungle or Sweet Child of Mine, I feel like it just holds a higher place to me. Just like how, again, it's higher. I ranked it higher, but I think it's just a really solid song and gets its simple, straightforward point across, and I really like that. So it's really cool. Coming in number 3, Paradise City. Now this is one of their most popular songs as well, but compared to Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, where of course they're so unique in their own special way and like they're so popular for many reasons, this one I can really just like, I've heard this one the most from even before starting this like journey with Guns N' Roses, but I listening to it more after getting into them and just doing it for this video and hearing it, it just really beats Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle. Like just from the way it starts, it's like take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Like it's just, dude, it's an anthem. Like how I said, Sweet Child of Mine's kind of like an event song. This one feels like an anthem type of song, and like this is why it's played everywhere as well. Like you have 3 huge hit songs from their discography on here, and there's good reasons so, because all the other songs are just as good. With this one, I had to put it 3. I'm not gonna put it in my top place because I don't think it deserves that high of regard. I think it's really up there. It should like it's high regard, like right near the top spot. But like Paradise City, bro, you got everything from that beginning. Again, I said I love the beginning. It starts out fantastic. It just like builds, this one definitely builds you up, but like it's doing it in that slow pace where you're getting ready for what the sound of the song is going to be, and then when you get to the actual sounds all coming together, it swells you up. And then just the chorus, just and then you got the ending of where it's just like going ham, it's going crazy. The last like 2 minutes, I believe, maybe a minute and a half, of just like swelling guitars and drumming and like singing, where it's just like it's all being consumed at the same time, just rushing. It's like going faster and faster. It's like something broke it just can't stop. And then you just get to that very end where it's just like again, another just like everything about it just comes together, and I'm like, dude, out of all their most popular ones, this one has to take a high spot for me. And if it's coming from this album, not gonna be number 1, but it's gonna be my number 3. It's such a top spot. You guys all know why. You guys know how good this song is, and it deserves to at least be in the top 3. Coming in the last 2 here, we have Rocky Queen. Did you guess that? Probably not. But yeah, Rocket Queen, man. I literally just did this one, so, it could be a bias. Maybe my list will change sometime down the future. But after taking, actual time to sit down and figure this out, Rocket Queen is good. Now, this would have been lower. I will be honest with you. This would have been lower because I thought the 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes of the song were still solid. Like, I was like, dude, this is a super solid song. I get why people like it. Still seems like it was a really good, solid ending song to this album. I thoroughly love it a lot. And I liked built up well, had great guitars. I liked how it said Rocket Queen. It kind of had a interesting, like kind of not auto tune, but like like a voice box type of like fixer with his voice when he did the chorus. So it was interesting. They tried different things, and I was like, 4 minutes, and it's a really good song. Probably rank it in the middle or something. We'll figure it out. Really like it. Of course, it's still a banger. But then they did this before with November Rain. Then the 4 minute mark happens. He stops singing. The guitars and everything keep going, but then it changes, and I'm like, huh? And then it keeps going, and then he starts singing again, and then it just becomes this whole different song for the last like a little over 2 minutes, I think, of the rest of the song. And I was like, dude, you just changed this whole thing again. It just became like a whole new song. I was blown away. I was like, I still find it as one song, obviously, because they're in the same area, but if it didn't have those last 2 minutes, because they could have ended it at that 4 minute mark, and that would have been a 4 minute song, it would have been fine. But they wanted to keep going, push it past 6 minutes, and that was perfect. Like, that whole second half of the song was so good. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It was just the perfect type of way to keep going with that song. And it's the ending song, and then the way they closed it out the very end felt like a closing song, and they really thought about it thoroughly, I thought. And then it makes the first 4 minutes just make not more sense, because I still love the first 4 minutes, but now because of those first 4 minutes and then what I know they're gonna do, now I like those first 4 minutes even more, because then they can kind of like, combine it once you get to 4 minutes, and then it just changes up, and then once you get to the last 20 seconds of the song, everything you just heard empowers you, and then it just, you get to that closing 10 seconds, and it's just so worth it, man. Rocket Queen is fantastic. You guys are right. A great closer. So good. And if you guys didn't figure out already what my number one is, drum roll. This is, yeah, Mr. Brownstone, obviously, dude. It has a very similar intro to Paradise City, but it still does it differently. And I compare those two a lot because I like those two. Obviously, Mr. Brownstone's number 1, Paradise City's number 3. So there's similarities, but Mr. Brownstone's significantly shorter by like 3 minutes. And it just gets its point across again. When they have these shorter songs with such a brisk pace, they really just know how to get their whole thing to be together in a shorter span of time. And they can, either have fast paced or have downtime, excuse me. And from that beginning where it's just like again, it's like Paradise City. It was like I can't do it right, but either way, you know what I'm talking about from Mr. Brownstone. And then you get to 10 seconds, and it's just like, boom. And then you get to the chorus, like, with Mr. Brownstone. It's just kick-ass, man. It's kick-ass, because you get 3 minutes, 40 seconds of a song that it's like, I don't want to call it the shorter version of Paradise City, because it's obviously a totally different song. You guys said it's about drugs, like heroin or something, I believe he said it was. This one I could just come back to the most. It's easy. It's like less than 4 minutes. You just put it on, and not that like I always just like put a song top place just how short it is, but like it does everything I love about Guns N' Roses and everything I've heard from this album. You can even go back to my reaction, like that intro sold it for me right away. And maybe it's because like I'd heard Paradise City already. Maybe if I hadn't heard Paradise City before, I would put that higher. But to me, I still feel like that's just unjust, because even though it's a super popular song, you gotta give the light to some of these elder songs. And I think Mr. Brownstone does what Paradise City does, just in a like more simple way, because it's not so like it's compacted, but they do it and they make it work because it's compacted. Because Paradise City has more time, so they kind of like not drag it out, but they kind of push it more, and they try to like swell everything up to make this kind of huge event anthem type of song, which it works for that song, but here they don't want an anthem. They just kind of want to get their point across in this specific song. And just from the chorus to everything about it, from the drums, guitars, the rhythm, the patterns, the beats, the voice, the raw energy of it all just coming and flowing through you and through the song and through their lyrics and through them, everything about it just worked for me 100%. And when I was thinking about this, you go back to my Mr. Brownstone reaction, you can tell how much I love that song and the ones I just talked about. Mr. Brownstone has to come in at number one. It was just fantastic. It was worth everything to me, and I come back to that one the most just because of how catchy it is, and I think it's the best. But my top three here are like so, like, no words. Top 8 are like no words, perfect, fantastic. Then the bottom 4, as much as I love them and I think they are fantastic, I had just slight minuscule issues, just minuscule, like not even a big deal, but you can get through them. It's totally fine, and you still enjoy GunsNRoses like it's the best thing ever. So at the end of the day, Mr. Brownstone was number 1, Think About You is the bottom, and then we had the rest. And this is my ranking, guys. Took a lot of, like, not too much time, but compared to me doing Master of Puppets, I took way more time with it, because I was like, okay, I really need to hone in on like these songs, because these are like so unique in all their special ways, and how would I consume them, how would I listen to them, and what makes me want to put this one at the bottom compared to putting this one at the top. So that's my list, guys. This is the Appetite for Destruction ranking. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching those reactions. And the only thing I ask you to do is to like this video again, and to also give me suggestions for which GunsNRoses album I should do next. And that really helped me out a lot to figure out what next albums I can get to for all the artists, so we can do more reactions and do more rankings and keep this train rolling. So if you guys are new here, please click that like button, subscribe, join on the conversation, because as I like to say, this is a place to express yourself just like I am. And if you enjoy this video and enjoy me with the stick, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace, everybody.